retired Border Patrol agent Thaddeus Cleveland. Also joining us is retired U.S. Border Patrol Chief Chris Clem. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming on this morning on Wake Up America Weekend. Sheriff, let me start with you. President Biden now blaming Trump and MAGA Republicans for this border crisis. Now, for the audience here, this is despite, just look at the screen, almost immediately, practically his first day in office, reversing most of the Trump-era policies designated to secure the border. Remember remain in Mexico? Or how about allowing ICE to function in sanctuary cities, as well as taking away the money for that Trump directed for the border wall? You know, so what effect do all these reversals have? Is that really what we should be looking at when we're playing the blame game?
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having me, and good morning to you, Chris. Chris and I worked together back in the early 2000s out here in Texas with Border Patrol. But to get to your question, look, it's the Democrat Party, it's the left trying to flip the script now. And I hate to pit one party against the other because I think they all have a little skin in the game as far as what's going on along the border. But let me tell you what, Secretary Mayorkas has routinely said that he inherited this problem and that this is a world migration effect. And I can tell you that my time on the border, a lifetime on the border, having grown up here as well, you know, that this is far from that. This is a lack of policy by the Biden administration. Right now, what we're seeing is complete lawlessness and a free-for-all down here on the border.
If I could just say one thing, I don't think it's a lack of policy. I think the policy is to keep an open border. I mean, they've created it. Their policies are basically telling Border Patrol, you can't do your job. Sorry, just had to throw that in there.
That's okay. That's okay. Tell us how you really feel, Michael. We love hearing your input.
It does. It gets me going. I have to admit it.
Chris, to you now. Amid this growing border crisis that we do have here, officials from ICE are warning that they may release 15,000 migrants from its detention centres due to a lack of funding. So what would the consequences of releasing these migrants be from ICE custody? What would the lack of funding for ICE mean for border security here?
Well, first of all, it would mean that the administration got what they've always wanted. They ran campaigns on defunding ICE, abolishing ICE. So anything they can do to continue to, minimize the importance of that piece of the immigration enforcement continuum is right up their alley. So it's going to mean more releases because there's been policies taken away from us, as we mentioned and Sheriff Cleveland mentioned. You know, these policies were in place that were effective. And so when you remove them and there's no place for Border Patrol agents to put them, they're going to be released to the streets. We've been doing that for the last 3 years under this administration. And let me just remind everybody about Secretary Mayorkas. From 2009 to 2012, he ran Citizenship and Immigration Services. From 2009 to 2012, or excuse me, from 12 to 16, he was the deputy secretary. And then for the last 3 years, he's been the secretary. He has been in charge of the agencies that are responsible for the immigration system in this country. So he doesn't need to look very far to blame the system. He has been part of that system for quite a long time.
Yeah, Chief, I guess he doesn't have any mirrors, so that could be one of the reasons why. But I just want to follow up quickly, Sheriff. We're going to let out 15,000. Didn't we just let 250,000 in December anyway? So this is all nonsense as far as I'm concerned. This is all, they're just trying to say, oh, see, we don't have the funding, so we're going to release them. You've been doing catch and release. That's your policy. So they'd be released even if they had the funding. Yeah. But that's just, again, how I see it. This is all games. It's insane. So, Sheriff, I have to move on before my head explodes. I got to move on to something that is interesting, and that's the increase in Chinese migrants crossing illegally. There's more than 24,000 encounters with Chinese nationals. And again, we're calling them encounters now, but again, this is catch and release. So, they're just being let into the country, basically, and they're not being tracked. They're not being vetted. So we have no idea whether they're Chinese spies here for espionage, up for no good. No idea. Do you see this growing number of Chinese nationals?
And it's very concerning. And we're fortunate here in Terrell County, where we have 54 miles of border with Mexico. We're not seeing that. And we are seeing another spike again with illegal alien crossings right now. And as soon as I'm done with this interview, I'm going to go help Border Patrol catch some groups. But with that being said, look, we've been experiencing fentanyl crisis for many years now. And a community close to mine in the past few weeks has had 4 poisonings. Look, if the Chinese can kill Americans without firing a single bullet, that they're accomplishing what they want to do. Now they're infiltrating Chinese through our border. Look, when I used to work with Border Patrol Intel back in the mid 2010, 2015, We used to catch illegal aliens from other countries with cameras, and we would develop that film, and we would see them in ports taking pictures as someone that's trying to piece together what a certain area looks like. I guarantee you, if we went through some of their cameras and whatnot, we're not, because we're allowing them right in, we would see stuff that would probably be even more concerning to us.
Chief, we have to go now. We've got 45 seconds left, so 30 seconds just to you. The increase in Chinese migrants, what's your take on this?
Well, it is exactly kind of what the sheriff mentioned. It's alarming. It's a concern. It's from a country that we know does not have the best relationship with us, that they are trying to globalize themselves, or they're already successful. So to see people in this mass, I mean, 20,000+ people just last year from that country, in any group or any demographic of that magnitude should cause a lot of concern for the American people. And this is exactly what we're concerned about. We don't have the systems in place that are going to vet them fully. We don't have the room. They're going to be released. And let's just hope that they are not going to be up to what they potentially could be doing, because this is a very alarming situation with all the issues going around the world. So this is where the detention piece makes a big difference for us. However, we have no further place to blame than the White House.
Yeah, Chief, unfortunately, I'm not going to just trust China on that one. I have a feeling that some of these guys are up to no good. We got to leave it there. Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland and Chief Chris Clem, thank you very much. We really do appreciate your input.
Thank you.
Thank you.